The Renaissance. I mean, what an incredible time. It was an explosion of genius, of art, of beauty, a world literally reborn. But have you ever stopped to wonder where that first spark actually came from? What kicked the whole thing off?
Seriously, think about that for a second. After centuries of what was, relative stagnation, and an entire continent just wakes up. It starts rediscovering the classical world, and in the process creates our modern one. How does something that massive, an intellectual revolution on that scale, even begin? So here's how we're going to unpack that today. We'll start with the mystery itself, and then we'll look at the standard perfect storm theory you probably heard in school. But then we'll dive into a poet's daring new idea, see how it led to a radical transformation in art, helped people completely reimagine their place in the universe, and kicked off a quiet revolution that changed everything. At its heart, the Renaissance was really this incredible clash of worlds, right? You had the ancient wisdom of Greece and Rome colliding head-on with the deep faith of Christian Europe, and this amazing fusion gave birth to our modern age. But how it all got started, well, that's always been the big puzzle.
Okay, so the mainstream view, what you'll find in pretty much any history book, is that the Renaissance wasn't sparked by just one thing. Instead, it was the result of a perfect storm of historical trends all happening at once.
And this theory makes a whole lot of sense. You've got scholars fleeing the fall of Constantinople, and they bring all these forgotten Greek texts with them. Imagine what that would do. Then the Crusades expose Europe to the incredibly advanced knowledge of the Islamic Golden Age. How could that not change things? Then you throw in competing city-states, super wealthy patrons like the Medici family, a major crisis in the church, and of course the game-changing invention of the printing press. It's a really compelling mix. But what if that storm needed a lightning strike to actually get started? That's the maverick view we're going to explore today. The idea that all those factors were just kindling, just dry wood, waiting for one single powerful idea, an idea found in a poem, to set the entire world on fire. And this brings us right to our central thesis, that the true catalyst, the real first mover of the Renaissance, was the Italian poet Dante Alighieri.
The first clue is just the timeline itself. It's so simple. Just look at these birth years. Dante was writing his masterpiece, The Divine Comedy, before Petrarch, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, or Raphael were even a thought. He came first, and that simple fact suggests he wasn't just part of the movement, he might have been the one who actually started it.
So where's the proof of Dante's influence? Well, it's actually encoded, hidden in plain sight, in the most famous artworks of the time. You can see this huge shift, where art stops being about these abstract divine ideas and starts being about compelling, messy, human stories.
Let me put it this way. Medieval art was designed to make you feel small. It was there to make you submit to the awesome, blinding power of God. It was flat, it was symbolic. But Renaissance art? It does the exact opposite. It's dynamic, it has depth, it's compelling, and it makes you curious. It doesn't demand your submission, it actually invites your participation. It pulls you into the story.
And Leonardo's The Last Supper is the perfect example of this shift. I mean, look at it. This isn't some static, holy picture. It's a moment of intense human drama. Jesus has just dropped a bombshell. One of them is going to betray him. Look at their faces, the shock, the anger, the confusion, the whispering. Notice what's missing: halos. Leonardo took away the divine symbols because he wanted to focus on the raw, complex humanity of the moment.
But here's where it gets really fascinating. There's a hidden layer. The whole painting is built on math. The disciples are in groups of 3, with Jesus in the center, which creates this visual rhythm. 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. So why 3, 3, 1, 3, 3? Well, in the Bible, the passage Lamentations 3:31-33 is all about God's unfailing love and compassion, that he won't cast us off forever. And that is the absolute core message of Dante's Divine Comedy, that God's defining trait isn't judgment, it's forgiveness, it's redemptive love. It's like Leonardo literally embedded Dante's biggest idea right into the structure of his masterpiece. It's just wow.
And you see this idea just keep building. Take Raphael's School of Athens. In a move that would have been completely unthinkable a century earlier, Raphael paints himself into this epic gathering of the greatest minds in all of history. Where does an artist get that kind of confidence, that kind of boldness? He gets it from Dante, the guy who made himself the hero of his own epic journey through heaven and hell. It's this radical celebration of the individual, of curiosity, and of our own humanity.
So what was this powerful idea of Dante's that inspired all this creativity and confidence? Well, to really get its impact, we have to understand the worldview that it completely shattered.
For centuries, Europe was dominated by the theology of St. Augustine.
And his worldview was like a chain holding humanity down. It basically taught that you are inherently flawed, made from nothing. It taught that your love, your passions, your own intuition, that stuff is dangerous and will lead you straight to sin. So the only way to be saved was to deny your own nature and just submit completely to the church. You can see how this would lead to centuries of cultural fear and stagnation.
And then came Dante. And with this single revolutionary line from his poem, he just broke Augustine's chain. He argued that God's greatest gift to us wasn't a bunch of rules, but the freedom to choose, the freedom of the will.
So here's the crucial point. Dante completely reframed the whole idea of divine love. It wasn't about demanding obedience anymore. It was about giving humanity freedom and imagination and the ability to learn from our mistakes. In Dante's world, we honor God not by submitting, but by using our freedom to create truth and beauty.
Okay, this brings us to the final and I think most stunning piece of evidence of Dante's influence. It's basically a secret message planted in the very heart of the Catholic Church.
We all know Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam, right? The traditional reading is pretty straightforward. God, the all-powerful creator, gives the spark of life to Adam. It's the story of Genesis, right there on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Simple enough.
But look closer. For years, medical experts have pointed out that the shape behind God, the cape, the angels, all of it, forms a perfect, anatomically correct illustration of the human brain. The message is just, it's so radical and it's hidden in plain sight. This isn't just God creating Adam. This is the human imagination creating God. It is the ultimate humanist statement, and it's inspired by Dante. Our greatest gift, our capacity for imagination and love, that is the true source of the divine.
So you can really see the profound shift. The world under Augustine's influence was one of submission, which resulted in relative stagnation. But Dante's idea, this idea of human freedom and creative potential, it completely unlocked an explosion of art, science, and philosophy that reshaped the entire world.
So we're left with this question. Look, the perfect storm of historical factors was absolutely real, and it was necessary. But maybe, just maybe, it took the vision of a single poet to grab all that energy and give it direction and meaning. It really makes you wonder, can a poem, a story, a single powerful idea truly rewrite the world? When you look at the Renaissance, all the evidence suggests that the answer is yes, it absolutely can.